Gotta get more followers.
Hello everyone, Canadian Futures Trader here. Today's video going to be talking about 10 reasons to try out for a funded futures trader program. As told by a funded trader, that's me, that's right. I am a funded trader, guys. Let's get to it. First things first, before we start, trading is not easy. Most people fail. Read the full disclaimer in the video description. As well, there's a link down there to my website, which has the disclaimer as well. Not to discourage anyone, but trading's tough. Don't want you to get caught up in other people's journeys, myself included. Just want to remind people you aren't entitled to pass. We're going to get into the trader programs. But just because you sign up doesn't mean you're entitled to pass. You still have to prove your worth. Prep work goes a long way, so be sure to read the rules of any of the trader evaluations, easily found on any of the company websites. Great resource, especially when you're comparing the different sites and all the programs. And as well, all the sites that are mentioned in this video I'm making are listed down below in the video description, as well as on my website, because I've given a bunch of examples are going to come up. I tried to kind of spread it over several different companies just to kind of show them. So all those companies are down below. This video, we're not really going to dive into the specifics of each company. We're going to be talking about the top 10 reasons you might want to sign up. So let's get to those. After we talk about my background, guys, I started trading futures not too long ago, early 2020, coming up on 3 years. Before I got started in futures, I spent several months researching futures trading, the funded trader programs, trader methodology. So I put a lot of work in before I got started. I started the YouTube channel in later 2020, basically because I was going through different evaluations, and I wanted to track my progress and kind of share it with other people and show what it was like to go through these evaluations. Those videos were kind of a big hit. I had lots of people ask me questions and whatnot, so I started a website, CanadianFuturesTrader.ca, the following year in 2021. On there, I have reviews of all the programs, the pros, the cons. There's lots of discounts and deals. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but you can check out my website and see all of that. I have lots of articles, other stuff. I also launched a free trading course in late 2021. It's on my site, completely free. I'll mention it right now as well. I have nothing to sell. I have there is no way to buy anything from me because I have nothing to sell you. So if you want the free course, go to my website. It is on there. Myself, I've passed evaluations with various companies in excess of $1 million in funding. And then I also trade my own capital as well. You might say, why? Why all these accounts? Why all this capital? Well, we're going to get to some of those reasons why you might want multiple accounts. So first reason you might want to sign up is the low cost to try out. So maybe you were like me. Remember, a lot of this comes from my frame of reference, wanting to try out futures, but not necessarily wanting to spend a lot of money. For under $100, you can open a trader evaluation account with several of the companies have accounts for under $100, up to a few $100, and that's all you're risking. If let's say it's $100, you sign up for an account, you try out, you either don't like it or it's not going well, you find it too stressful, whatever it might be, the most you're going to lose is whatever your initial fee payment was, and that's it. So it's a low cost, but there's a huge upside, because if it does work out for you, it's something you love, you succeed, you pass, you get funded. I mean, that's a lot of upside if you ask me. It's cheaper than opening a futures account. Now, you can open a futures account in the United States for, I think, as little as $250. I know the other brokers is like $400, $500, so not too much. But I'll mention a few things. One, that is the US only, so I'm kind of thinking of the global audience out there. You're not going to find that in Canada, for example. You're easily going to have to put $10,000, $20,000 just to open an account. And I know it's the same in other countries. As well, if you did open an account for, say, $250, sure, it's cheap, but you're going to be pretty limited on what you can trade with that small amount of capital. But conversely, you could open a trader evaluation account and trade, decent size. We're going to get to contract sizing. It's also the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and try it again with nothing held against you. So say you sign up, you try out, you break a rule, you're like, ah, shoot, I knew better, I want to give this another go. You can reset your account. You don't have to, and ideally you're not doing lots of resets, but the option is there. So for usually lower cost than what your evaluation cost you. You can reset it and kind of get a fresh start. So I have a few examples of just different companies. So this one is Earn a Trade and like what it would cost for an account. Now again, I'm not going to get into all the details of what all the, the drawdowns and all that stuff is, but I basically just want to show the pricing. Earn a Trade has accounts anywhere from 25K up to 150K. Now I'll mention too, these prices are as of September 2022. Prices might change. I've seen, all of these accounts on sale for even cheaper at some point over the last few years. I will mention you might see some things here, like you see the 25K is normally 150 on sale for 120. It's not necessarily on sale. It's if you use my link, you automatically get 20% off. So that's what that's about. But you can see even the biggest account is $280. So that's the most you would be in for to try out for their biggest account. Another example, Apex Trader Funding. Now I know this is pretty small on the screen, but just to give you an idea of the account sizes, anywhere from 25K up to 300K. They also have a static account. I'm going to talk a little bit in a future slide just about different types of accounts that you can choose from. Myself, I have the 300K. I have two of them actually. So different options between the different companies and, everything in between as well is kind of the point. So reason number 2, and don't worry, every point I didn't give lots of examples. We'll get through this together. You can learn while you're trading. So obviously I would suggest that before you even sign up, you have some idea of what futures trading is and what your plan of attack is and how you're going to go about it. But if you are fairly new and you're ready to try out, but you still feel like you have a lot to learn, some of the companies have fantastic educational resources available. You don't need to go pay, thousands of dollars for some trader course. I mean, the information is included with your, say, $100 fee or whatever you pay. So this is, again, Earn a Trade. It's just an example. They have over 100 hours of free content on their site, educational stuff on their site once you sign up, teaching all kinds of things, different trading strategies, how to read the charts, all the different patterns, all that type of stuff, the different products, explaining each of the products. Another example, Trade Day, another company that I really like. You kind of see here off to the right, I dropped down their trader education. They have free courses, they have quick tips, they have trader development with a trading coach, they have mind sessions. So lots of stuff available when you sign up with these companies. So it's not just about taking the evaluation. You can learn quite a bit from it as well. Reason number 3, leverage. So margins can be very prohibitive to people. So I have an example on the next slide, but I kind of mentioned if you open an account for like a live account for say $250 or even $500 with a brokerage, I mean, that's nice that you can open it for cheap, but the problem is that the margins are going to be what makes it tough to actually kind of navigate and trade that account. If you have a $500 account, the problem is the margins on, say, one contract of ES is $500. So immediately you almost can't even trade because you have no buffers. Now, of course, this depends on your brokerage and who you trade with, what the margin amounts are and stuff. But even on the low, like the cheapest you're going to find is something like a $500 margin. But with the prop firms, you have a predefined number of contracts. So it's not so much about margin. It'll be, and again, on the next slide, I have an example. But, depending on what account size you sign up for, it will be a set number of contracts you're allowed to trade regardless of the product itself. So, a 25K account is usually like 3 contracts that you can trade. So you pay the fee, you sign up, and you have instant access to all these multiple contracts. The 300K at Apex is 35 contracts. That would be quite a bit of money that you would have to put in an account to have the margin available to trade 35 contracts. And then once you get funded, it's the same thing. You will still have access to these multiple contracts. Basically, whatever account size you sign up for and pass, that's what you will then be funded with and kind of have the same number of contracts available. There's obviously some things around that. You might have to scale in. They might not all be available to you immediately, but ultimately, in the long term, they would be. So just a leverage example. So again, I know in the United States it's cheaper, so I'm going to use a Canadian example. So Interactive Brokers is one of the bigger futures brokers in Canada. Margins on Ultra Bond, UB, $9,300. UB is what I trade. So basically for every one contract of Ultra Bond I would want to trade, I'd have to put up or at least have $9,300 in my account to cover that. ES, very popular product, as is NQ with traders. $16,000, $20,000. These aren't typos, and these are big numbers. So to trade even 5 lots of, NQ, you need $100,000 just in margin. Then you money on top of that to act as a buffer, of course. So again, when I said they're prohibitive, they truly are prohibitive in most countries. Then as an example, I put UProfit Trader. Now again, I know you probably can't read this fine print on the screenshot that I have up there, but I have it listed on the left. You sign up for the 50K account, you can trade 6 contracts, 100K account 12, 200K 20 contracts. You sign up for the 200K, it's a few $100. You can trade 20 contracts of NQ. If you want to do 20 contracts of NQ in a brokerage, even if it was one of the lower cost brokerages, usually the margins on NQ are about $1,000 in a low cost brokerage. So trading 20 contracts would still be $20,000 you'd have to put up for the 20 lots. So you can see kind of the big difference. You get immediate access to a lot of contracts for a relatively low, fee to sign up. Reason number 4 is it's easy to have an account. You quite literally just go and sign up and, pay, and then you will have your credentials to start trading with one of the prop firms. To open a brokerage account, you're going to have to, sign up, fill in the forms, make your deposit. You're looking at easily 2 to 3 weeks before like a regular brokerage account would be open. And depending again on where you live, the requirements can be even tougher. I know in some countries you have to show proof of income and proof of assets that you have, and you have to meet minimum requirements to open these. I would say at best you're looking at just 2 to 3 weeks, even if there's not a lot of requirements. It's just going to take some time. Whereas with the prop firm, it's pretty quick. When you sign up, you'll be set up with your evaluation within a day, usually the exact same day. Let's say you pass. Passing's, I'm going to say generally 10 days. Some companies are a little bit longer, some are actually shorter. But then usually you get your live account within a day or two. So, trade for 10 days, pass your evaluation, a day or two later, you have your live account. And you don't have to prove your income or anything else. So reason number 5 is just account variety. There's lots of different types of accounts, and not just in the dollar size or number of contracts. Drawdowns, some companies have end of day drawdown, some have trailing drawdown, some have both, and you get to choose. The goals, again, you can choose the smaller account size, like a 25K with just like a $1,750 goal. Or you could choose one of the big ones. The 300K has a 20K goal, but you also get a lot more contracts. So you get to choose what is best for you and what you see yourself wanting. Some people only want to trade a few contracts, so they can go with a smaller size. Some of the companies have swing accounts, so you can hold the positions overnight as well. Most of the evaluations are intraday, meaning your positions have to be closed by the end of the trading day. But as it mentions here, a few of them have swing accounts if that's your thing as well. Some of the companies, I would say, have easier rules to pass the evaluation, but then are a little bit tougher once you get funded, and then vice versa. Some of them are tougher to pass, but then once you get to the funded stage, it almost becomes a little bit easier. So again, you got to choose what works best for you. And that's kind of the last point here. The key is to decide what's most important to you and find what matches your needs. There's lots more to these companies and these evaluations in terms of specs and whatnot than I'm listing here. These are just some of the differences. So, my recommendation is always do your due diligence, really sort through, read all the pros and cons. You can read my reviews, but then just go to the company's websites as well and look at things like, okay, what are the rules? What are the minimum number of days? How many contracts? Once they get funded, what are the rules there? What's the payout schedule? All those things matter. So you kind of have to pick what works best for you. Reason number 6, free software. Pretty much every company will give you a free license of NinjaTrader. If you were to buy NinjaTrader outright, it's over $1,000. I know, I bought it. And some of the other ones also have additional free software or trials. Jigsaw Day Trader, Bookmap, Trials to Journalytics, which is a journaling software. Again, these are expensive software to buy, and again, I speak from experience. I own a license to Jigsaw Day Trader. I paid almost $600 for it. And nowadays, some of these companies allow you to use Jigsaw Day Trader for free if you're with them. So that in itself is a huge value. And then once you're funded, some of the companies, or actually I'd say most of them, still allow you to use your free NinjaTrader, for example. Not all of them will, but again, that's where it comes down to really reading the details and making sure you understand the full scope of what they're about. But the point is that it's pretty, again, a low cost to entry. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars upfront for software that you would if you open a brokerage account. You would have to provide your own software that you're going to use for the most part. Reason number 7, I would say it's fairly clear and simple rules to pass. There's really no hidden surprises. Now, again, I'm not saying trading is easy. I'm not saying it's super easy to pass these valuations, but I'm saying at least the rules and what you need to do are fairly clear. And there really, at the end of the day, is not a lot of rules. Reach the profit goal. Don't hit your drawdown, whether it's end of day or trailing. This is the big one that gets most people, honestly. It's why most people would, break a rule. They lose too much and they basically hit the drawdown. Only trade the products you're allowed and only in the times you're allowed. You're allowed to trade, for the most part, 22 to 23 hours a day. So there's plenty of time to trade. Trade the minimum number of days, usually 10. Again, some are a bit longer, some are a bit shorter. And don't trade more contracts than you are allowed to. And a lot of the companies actually will have it set so you can't. If you tried to trade more than you're allowed, it just wouldn't let you. So it's not even necessarily something you have to be too worried about. Honestly, that is basically it. I mean, sure, there's other little rules. Some have a consistency rule. Again, I don't want to get into the details of every single company, but the point is just that the rules, it's not like there's 50 different rules you have to follow. There's like 5 maybe that you need to follow. Reason number 8 is it's kind of a competitive test with a goal. So if you're a competitive type of person, you like, going through in something, proving that you can, do it, and then there's some sort of reward at the end, this is exactly that. You have a specific achievement to reach, and when you do, there's a prize at the end. It's a funded account. There's lots of flexibility in how you get there. You can trade the product that suits you best, trade the strategy that suits you best, trade, the account size that suits you best, trade the times that suit you best. There's so many different variables that each person can kind of pick and choose, how they want to reach the goal line. And we all get to the goal line, but we all take very different paths. And that's kind of cool thing about futures trading. And there's definitely a sense of accomplishment when you reach it. I speak from experience. When you pass a trader evaluation, you feel very accomplished and you have achieved something, and now you'll have something to show for that. Reason number 9 is community. So you get into trading, even if you're new to trading, most of the companies these days have some type of dedicated community. So you and fellow traders who are going through the same program can all chat. Some of the companies are on Discord, some have dedicated Facebook groups, sometimes they're on forums. Whatever it might be, it's fun because you get to interact with other traders who are going through the exact same program that you are. People will be posting their progress. People will also be talking about their bad days, and it can act as a real support system. I found most of the groups to be fairly positive. The traders are in there really to help each other and kind of encourage each other. So you get that sense of community as well. You don't have to do it on your own, but you certainly can if you want to. You aren't required to participate in any group. So reason number 10, you can diversify your accounts. So you're never limited to being with one company. There's no company out there that will tell you can only trade with us. So lots of people, myself included, have accounts with multiple companies. And you might say, why? What's the point? Well, you can leverage the benefits of each. So I've given 2 examples here. Say one company has weekly payouts, another one has monthly payouts. Maybe next week you, want to pay for a vacation, or Christmas is coming up, or a birthday, whatever it might be. You're like, oh, maybe I'll trade my account that has weekly payouts so I can, if I do all right this week, I'll be able to withdraw that money. Maybe on the flip side, it's just kind of a normal week, nothing special going on. You're like, you know what, I'm going to chip away and work on that account that does monthly withdrawals. I'm just going to kind of slowly build it up. Very valid reason. So another thing you might do with different accounts is run different strategies. For example, Apex Trader Funding, 300K account, got 35 contracts available. I'm able to do some very different stuff with that account than I can with, say, a different account at a different company where I only maybe have 10 contracts available. The Apex account, I can do some spread trading. I've got a lot of contracts to work with, can really work on scaling into positions and all that type of stuff. Whereas, maybe on the smaller account, since it's just 10 contracts, it's like, okay, I'm just going to trade this one straight up and just trade the outright. So you can treat them differently and do different things with different accounts based on the strategies that you want to try out and based on your account size and all those things. So reason number 11, bonus reason. really uncapped income. I mean, there is quite literally no limit on how much you can make. I mean, there's not too many careers out there in the world where the sky's the limit, right? Trading is very much a direct results type of thing. You know, however much effort you put in, you know, your payouts and your income is going to be directly tied to what you physically do with your trading accounts. And whether you make all the money in 1 hour a day or 10 hours a day, you know, that's kind of up to you and how you want to trade. There's plenty of traders out there making 5 and 6 figure withdrawals every single month from the prop firms. I myself am included in that group. I know other traders who are, and if you go to any of those kind of dedicated communities I kind of mentioned, you'll see other traders posting, you know, their withdrawals and whatnot. There's really no ongoing elaborate expenses with the prop firms. There are usually like a monthly fee. Some of the companies have like a one-time fee you pay up front when you pass, and then there's nothing after that. Or there's other ones that have an ongoing fee, but it's usually no more than between, say, $80 and $100. That's going to cover, you know, your data and your software and your withdrawal fees. And quite honestly, if you have your own brokerage account, you're going to be paying a data fee regardless. As well, you're not tied to these companies for life. If you do it, and let's say you make a bunch of money, and you're like, well, I'm tired of, you know, having this, you know, prop firm account, and I'd rather just open my own account. You can do that. You can pull all of your profits and just move on. So quick summary, not to summarize every single point, but some of the highlights that I think it's a low-cost way to try out futures trading with a ton of potential upside and not much downside other than you lose your initial fee. You know, you learn during the process, you either learn from your mistakes or you learn from all the educational content that's available. Tons of leverage. I mean, that is just a huge benefit. I mean, the number of contracts you can put on in a trader valuation relative to how much capital you'd have to put up for margin is just very different. The ease of having an account, again, especially outside the United States, I can speak to this one, just so much easier to open, go through the evaluation, pass, and then get a funded account versus going through the process, both in terms of time and just requirements you have to go through. And then the bonus reason, it's fun and it's challenging. It really is. And rewarding, I would add to that as well. So my website, CanadianFuturesTrader.ca, and there's links down below. I have reviews of all the companies I showed, plus additional ones. All the companies on my website are, you know, vetted by me. I've been through most of their programs. I'm still funded with a lot of them. And as well, I have a ton of deals and discounts. A lot of these companies run discounts quite often, and I stay on top of those every single day and put them up on my website. So it's a good resource, if anything, to get a deal on one of the trader evaluations, or if you want to read more about them, that is all on there as well. Also, my free course I mentioned at the start. It is more focused on the treasuries and scalping and order flow, so it's not going to be for everyone. I realize that, but if you're interested in that stuff, it is on there for free. And lots more. Best thing to do is just check it out. Social media, they're all listed on my site. If you go to the contact page, that's the best way to find me. And then I already mentioned the trader valuation deals and all that cool stuff is on there. There's a quick look at my site. Why just talk about it? There you go. Pretty simple, pretty basic, but that's how I like it. Trying to keep it simple and just be like, look, here's the deals, here's the reviews, here's the free course, here's software I use if you want to learn more about software. Ton of articles I've written, and more. So there you go, guys. You can check all that out. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I put up like videos like this, as well as review videos. I put out discount alerts, and I put up trading videos, pretty decent amount as well. If you want to see some treasury trading action from yours truly, be sure to hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.